Good evening. Welcome to the Pitch Like Goggles. This is Pitch Like the Dark I'm Uncle Tats, and we have a few things that I wanted to go over tonight. I'm not going to get too much into tonight's game. We'll be breaking that down with Donald and Luca tomorrow morning, but I did want to get a few things off my chest. But I was kind of teasing the other day. And yes, this will be the final After Dark. It is going to be going through a rebranding. So this will be the final After Dark show. When the new show will launch, I am not sure, but I promise you, it is going to be something that is extremely unique, to the Yankees YouTube family of all the channels that are out there. So I'm looking forward to bringing that to you when it's all ready to go and ready to launch. But first off, it sucks that we had to lose the game. I think that there's a lot of issues with Will Warren. Like I said, we're going to get more into that. But what I will tell you is I was very impressed with the comeback game from Cam Schlittler. That was a statement game that we needed to make to set the tone for the series. And unfortunately, Will Warren just kind of threw ice on it. The offense was kind of a little blah. The play on the field was a little lackluster, a lot to be desired. But I want to talk more. There was also an announcement that came out that Ben Rice is going to be participating in the home run derby. So I'm curious to see how that is going to play out. I know a lot of people do not like players that from their team participating. They always feel it messes with their swing. I don't buy into that. Now, though it wasn't canceled, we were going through, to be quite honest, we're going through a lot of hiring issues at my job. So I was working a lot of overtime, so I wasn't getting home until 2 a.m. So for the last 6 months or so. So I did not have the energy or the time to do it that late in the night. I thought it'd be unfair to you guys, and especially you guys to stay up all hours of the night to talk. But it did give me the opportunity to kind of brainstorm some new ideas on what I wanted to bring what I wanted to do with the show. And the decision I made was the idea that I have is going to be completely different. It's going to be something, like I said to start, it's going to be something very unique. There's no channel in the YouTube Yankee space that does this, to my knowledge, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I promise you that. And Brad, I know Brad, he's been waiting for me to come back at night. The Bads are providing air conditioning. Believe me, I'll take any AC I can get. I sweat like a pig. I am the only guy that can sweat through a snowstorm. So believe me, my wife calls me a human furnace. I do not like the heat at all. So it's going to be very different than what the After Dark has been. But I want to get to the All-Star game for a little while. I'm going to try not to be draw it out too much. Just because I got to kind of try to keep it short, got to try to keep it quiet, as Aunt Tats is a little under the weather. The last thing I want to do is wake her up with, rant and raving. We'll save that for the morning when I have the house to myself and I'm with the guys. But, Ben Rice is going to be entering the home run derby. I'm curious what you guys think of that. Do you guys have an issue with it? I don't think that there's this whole home run derby curse. I think that there are players. Look, they're due to the statistics show that yes, there can be a little bit of a drop off in home run, the power swing as they adjust to try to hit the ball over the fence. When I'm not, do I hope that Ben Rice can, put together a formidable fight in the home run derby? Absolutely. Nobody wants to see any player, whether it's on your team or another team. You don't want to see them embarrass themselves. I don't think Ben Rice is going to do that. I think he's going to be just fine. I don't think it's going to mess him up for the remainder of the year. I don't buy into that. Um, when Stanton did it in 2017, along with Sanchez and Judge and a couple other guys, Stanton went on to hit 59 home runs that year. So the second half was not affected from him for the home run derby. Neither was Judge. What do you have, like a week and a half before he hit his next home run? And everyone's like, oh, it's the home run derby. Do we really, I'm not concerned about it. I really enjoy the home run derby. So I like, it does add a little bit more intrigue when there's a player from your team that is participating. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I really don't. My issue with the All-Star game, first off, I want to congratulate everybody that made the All-Star team. Cam Schlittler, he should be starting the All-Star game for the American League. Mizorowski should be the starter for the National League. I think those two have really stood out as just being dominant in their craft. So I'll leave that at that. Ben Rice going to the All-Star game, well deserved. He's having another phenomenal year. Ben Rice does not surprise me anymore. I'm surprised when he goes through a little bit of a funk, and I just have all the faith in the way that he puts his work in. He's going to come out of it, and he's hitting a lot better. Lou is saying he thinks the AL is going to kill the NL. Wouldn't that be funny with the whole narrative, though, Lou, to be honest with you guys? Wouldn't that be poetic to have just the American League just kind of rout the National League in the All-Star game? I would love that. I think that would be hilarious. Unlikely, but hilarious. And here's the thing that made me want to do this show. And it's, Judge was a surprise pick for the All-Star team with the injury. It's I don't. Now, I'm going to get a lot of criticism for it. That's fine. I always joke around. I got broad shoulders. I can take it. I don't think Judge is I don't think, because of the fact that he hasn't played for the extent of the time that he has been out, I don't think he should have been selected to the All-Star team. And it's not. I don't think it's an insult to Judge's legacy, what he means to baseball, what he means to. If you can't physically participate, why are you getting voted in? That's my outlook on it. That's just how I see it. I don't think, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. You said that backwards. You think it should be the other way around? You think the NL is going to route the AL? Is that what you meant, Lou? It's. I don't think. Jonathan, are you saying it's a mistake for Judge being selected, or me? Or is it the Ben Rice thing? I just want you to specify on that. And yes, the phones voted him in, and that, like I said, but that's fine. But I don't think he should have been eligible to vote. I don't think he was eligible to be voted in. I really don't. Like I said, I love Judge. You see, I got the picture of him on the wall. I'm a big Judge fan. But I don't think that I think it's taking away from somebody else that's that's playing the games, that's putting the work in. And Jonathan, you're absolutely right. It's a popularity contest. It's a popularity contest. Like, and everybody wants their favorites to get in. I understand that. I get it. You want to see, the premier players of the game. And Judge is definitely a premier player. No doubt about I don't argue that. But if you like I'm going to stick to it. I don't want to be hypocritical. If you can't physically play in the game, then you shouldn't be eligible to be voted on. That's the way it is. I'm sorry. I've never lied to you guys. I've always given it to you straight. I don't think he deserved it. I don't think I don't think he's had the amount of games played, and the fact that he's injured. How is somebody that's not able to play an All-Star? You need to explain that to me. Judge and Vladdy, neither should have been selected. Vladdy's an interesting case because Vladdy's having, to most American League standards, he's having a solid year. For what Vladdy's done in the past, he's having a very down year. And I think that I'll stand by Ben Rice. If I had to pick for a first baseman for this year, I'm still going Ben Rice over Vlad Guerrero Jr. I don't think there's a contest between the two. It's Ben Rice. If I'll pose this question out there. Should they do away with the home run derby? And a follow-up question to that is the home run derby going the way of like the slam dunk contest where it's a joke. Like it's not taken seriously. Nobody's into it. When my kids were growing up, that was the one thing that we bonded over. We would watch the home run derby. We'd play, little wagers with each other of who would win. And, we made it, we had a lot of fun with it. So I don't know if that's the nostalgia for me with the home run derby. I still enjoy it. I still do enjoy it. I think it's a great competition. I think it's a lot of fun. And that's what the All-Star game is supposed to be. The best of the best just kind of letting their hair down and just having a good time. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, I don't think it's a big deal that they go into this home run derby. I know they want to, and like I said, I'm getting repetitive now. It's a popularity contest. It's definitely a popularity contest. Jonathan is putting out in the chat here. I appreciate everybody that's hanging out in the chat. No, it's a very light crowd tonight, but still appreciate every single one of you. If you do enjoy this content and you're seeing this after the fact, definitely hit that like button, hit that sub button, and share this out. And you can always join us Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays on our morning live shows with me and the boys. Jonathan saying, I would like to see the next CBA to allow more trades with draft picks and no dropping 10 spots. Look, I think this next CBA, and we're going to get into it, late as the season goes on and starts to wind down, I've been kind of hesitant to bring up the CBA just because it's all speculation, rumors right now. Everybody's trying to gain an edge, and I don't think it serves a purpose to the public to do that. Well, I'm not. I could care less with the draft picks. It's all well. This is not like NBA or the NFL where your draft picks you're gonna get it. You're gonna feel the effect of the draft a lot quicker. In baseball, draft picks are that they're to me they just feel obsolete. Um, what I would like to see. Look, I can go back. I can pull up the tapes. I can go back to our entire catalog of shows we've ever done. Um, I don't think anybody before me even thought of a salary floor. I've been saying this for 7 years now. When me and the guy started doing podcasting, and I'm a big fan of the salary floor. You cannot receive the shared revenue and not spend on players. I think that's absolutely criminal. Absolutely criminal. At the same time, it's not every player deserves to get the paycheck that the owners are willing to spend. And there's got to be a balance to it. They really have. I think that they need to alter. Yo, NFE, what's going on, my guy? Good to see you're awake at this hour. Look, I think when it comes to the CBA and the salary cap, the salary floor, baseball's kind of been the last one standing before getting the cap. I am in favor of a cap, but they have to establish the floor first. That has to be the priority, the salary floor. You cannot take shared revenue and not put it into players. You can't put it in your pocket. That's bullshit. I don't believe in that. I think that they should be, when you establish a floor, you you have to be able to look. You want to take some of that shared revenue, and you want to acclimate. I say no more than 15% towards stadium advancement. You want to upgrade your stadium, or kind of build new shops, upgrades, stuff like that. I think 85% of the shared revenue has to go to salary. What they do with the other 15%, I can care less. But I think the shared revenue should have to stay within the stadium and the organization. It cannot go right to the owners. And Jonathan, we've been in lockstep with that. Yeah, and if you and I we've talked about this at length over the years. No, it's why should teams get punished for spending the money? I think that's why they're going to end up with the cap. Well, if you don't want me spending, I think not so much. If there's going to be a compromise, I think what they need to do is they need to say, all right, if we're not going to do a cap, there has to be, maybe not a cap in salary, but I think there's going to need to be a change with how I think the attack is going to be on the Dodgers because they're the masters of it. I think you're going to see drastic changes with deferred money. I think that's going to become a way of the dodo bird. I don't think they're going to be allowed to do it. It's if you wanted deferred, Yeah, Soto went on. But that's the thing. It's like these teams they're spending these absorbent amount of money, and after 5 6 years of these, let's take Soto for example, right? They're going to give him $55 million for what 15 16 years. You really in years 10 plus, 10 through 15, you're not getting fucking prime Soto. No, you're going to spend $55 million for a DH. It's not worth. I just don't see that worth it. Jonathan's saying I think the deferral should not be unlimited. That's interesting. I just think they should go. The first thing that's got to be done is they got to eliminate the qualifying offer. I think it's a crock of shit. I've hated it since day one, and you all know how I feel about the qualifying offer. You're gonna punish a team because they didn't sign them, and it also comes to the question, with sports. And look, I'm a union rep. I understand. We want to get every dollar we can for members and employees, but there's got to be a breaking point where they're like, look, it would be asinine for us to go to the negotiation table and say we want a 60% increase in our hourly rate. They're gonna laugh at us. But I gotta stand by and be like, I'm gonna, if that's really what everybody wants, I gotta, I'm gonna defend that. I'm gonna be like, no, you can't, look, these guys want compensation. I'm never gonna begrudge anybody for wanting to make the most that they can in the time that they play. Figure the average athlete, what, has a, let's say, 10 15 year window where they can earn their money. And you get some of the, you get the exceptions to the rule that go to the 20 year mark and on from there. I'm still happy Soto didn't sign with the Yankees at the price he did. Well, financially, yeah, I think the Yankees did dodge a bullet. Um, it's production on the field. Look, I was my thing. I didn't want to go over 12 13. I would have upped the AAV for those years. Look, we'll give you 10 years for 50. Whatever. But Soto's a very selfish player. He wanted the money. It didn't. I think if the Kansas City Royals offered him more money, he was going to Kansas City. It wasn't about the market. It was about the paycheck. And that's why I'm kind of. I think that in that aspect, I think the Yankees dodged a bullet. Arbitration years down to 4. I think so. I think that I think any player that's put on the 40-man roster, I think that starts your clock. That should start the clock. Not when you get called up. Um, it's when you get into the nitty gritty with that. Um, I think that these players need to be able to reach free agency at a younger age. that I think is an injustice that these teams, they handcuff them. Yeah. They don't really treat these players the right way. Yeah, the free agent compensation. Yep, it's got to go, John. It's got to. There's no way around it. It's got to be. There has to be massive changes, and it's got to be compromised between both parties. Free agent this deadline. This is such an intriguing question, bro. Should there be a deadline for free agents? I saw something where one of the proposals that was leaked out. I was saying there's a lot of things being leaked right now, and it's hard to decipher what's legit, what's not, what's just um, the Players Association and the owners wanted to kind of pull us one way or another um, in their favor. It's what was it? There was a cap. You were if you stayed with the team that you were already on, you can get up to 6 years. And if you went into free agency and signed with another team, your contract limit was 5 years. I think that's something that could be more reasonable than a salary cap itself. I think a cap on the years for a contract would be a lot easier to settle on. And yeah, Brad, you're right. Baseball free agency is so boring. You hear it, right? And if he knows this, you know, we spend months doing shows just going, they're going to sign this guy. They're really focused on this guy. Oh, there's a mystery team. What mystery team? If you're in on the play, just fucking say so. Just say so. There's so many things that baseball does wrong. And I understand that I understand and respect the hard stance that with Tony Clark and the union, you know, they do a great job representing their players, but sometimes their stubbornness is what holds everything back. You're not making any progress. The owners are no better. The commissioner's a fucking idiot. I think the commissioner is not as big of a baseball fan. Like, if you don't have the passion for the game that you're running, what the hell are you doing? Why? Why are you trying to fix what wasn't broken? NFV, it's all clickbait, and it's not fair to us. Oh, that's interesting, John. You think if a player doesn't sign with a team by pitchers and catchers, they could only sign for 1 year is a good idea? I do. I do. I think that there should be stages through the off season. If you're, I think there should be a limit to how many years you can sign for if you're not signed before. I know it's just the name that keeps going to my head, NFE. I don't, but Tony Clark he caused a lot of these problems. That's why he's still the blame. We'll see how the new guy, the new regime handles all these negotiations. It's if a player doesn't sign by the winter meetings, right? When the winter meetings wrap up, if you're still not signed, I think that you should be. If you sign beforehand, you should be able to get a 10-year contract. That should be the limit. Anything after is a limit of 5. If you re-sign with your club, you can get 7. I think that would be fair. Monetary value undisclosed. No limit on what you can make. But there's definitely has to be a floor. Definitely need a floor. What do you think about that with the 10, 5, and 7? And that's and no more qualifying offer bullshit. Winter meeting's a little too short. Nope. I don't think so. I really don't. We want to speed this up. We don't want to drag it out. The winter meetings is a month after the season ends. The winter meetings is like the first or second week in December. There's plenty of time for them to figure out what they want to do. That's what I'm saying. It has to be done, you know, what was I say? It has to be done before the ending of winter meetings. So move, the first week of December. That's plenty of time, Jonathan. You, there hasn't been an issue that I know of, with all controversy with the NBA or the NFL. Their free agency is quick. Boom, you're done. You're on your new team. And yeah, there's going to be no baseball, in 27. I think we all accept that. We all accept that fate. All right. I'll pull up my calendar real quick, and let's go to December here. You figured if they have the winter meetings this year, the second week of December, that would be from the 5th, which is that Saturday, through the 12th, which is the following Saturday. I think that's more than enough time for agents and owners to come to agreements. You want to give say you have a veteran player, right? And that's like the pending physical. I would give you get then that would extend that to 2 weeks after the winter meetings before a deal is done. 2 weeks gives plenty of time for team doctors and physicians to give a full physical to a player. Now, you have to be a veteran. You have to be a veteran. You have to have 10 plus years to get that grace period. You have to be a vested player to get that grace period. There's a ton of ways to get creative about it. There's no doubt about it. I may need to start doing the same thing myself. Why not look at the other content with the guys, which is fine. Between the three, between me, Donald, Luca, Chris, with her involved, there's plenty of things that we can find what to talk about. I already have a couple of ideas of what we could do if there is a lockout to kind of keep you guys entertained. But no, there was a big frenzy before the last lockout. You're absolutely right, Brad. Absolutely right. But I think this go around is going to be a lot different. I think I think what's at stake is a lot bigger. More open panel. Yep. Hey, open panel. I told you. We really enjoyed that last year, doing the open panels on Fridays, and everybody was awesome with that. Yeah, it usually is Mondays, but I was not. I was a little under the weather, so I was asleep very early. So no, if you watched yesterday's show, I said that I was doing it tonight instead of Monday night because I would not be awake. So well, this is going to be the final. I'll say this again. This is going to be the last After Dark. The show is not going away. The title is. It's being rebranded, restructured, bringing something very different to the channel, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's something that I've wanted to do on the channel for a while now, and I'm forcing myself to bring it to fruition. I remember talking with Scott Braun. He said there will never be a salary cap, and if there is, MLB would cease to exist, and a new league would be created. Yeah, Scott Braun's very insightful. I've talked with him a couple of times, and he knows his shit. I think baseball, the way that their contracts are, and the way that everybody is paid, and the amount of money that these players make, I think it's if there really was, if they had any momentum to do it, it would have been the 94-95 season. I think that time is past for a cap. I think that's why I think the best way for everybody, the best route for them to go to resolve this is not to have a salary cap, but a contract cap. Have a salary floor and a contract cap. I think that has to be the compromise. It never matters what the fans want. We're still because no matter what, we're gonna support the team. We're still watching games. The stadium sells their tickets. Yeah, pinstripes with hairs, Brad. Yeah, I'll put a wig on. What did that be? That would bring us some views, that's for sure. Like, I don't know where the cap's going to go. I think there's going to be a lot more rumors about it. Um, and it's not something that it the one thing that's not in front of us right now that we don't have to really stress about is the lockout. That's not till December. It's not till the season ends, and the negotiations begin. So believe me, the way that the way the two sides are trying to pull the fans in their favor one way or another, it's gonna make it all. It's gonna make it really interesting. It's gonna give channels like ours and NFEs a lot of content. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But what I know is gonna happen is I'm gonna be back in a few hours with Donald and Luca as we do our morning show. I'm gonna be wrapping things up for us tonight. Hope everybody did enjoy it. I always enjoy doing these shows. Like I said, unfortunately, I got to be a little more reserved with Aunt Tats under the weather. Don't want to go screaming, hooting, and hollering, waking her up. She needs her rest. And so, well, we will be back in the morning. Later this morning, as it is almost 1 o'clock. Show will be 10:15 a.m. as always. So with that, make sure you do hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out, your friends, your family, the streams on the corner. The big question. Big question. Do you want your money in the player's pocket or the owner's? Well, I don't think either of them need the money. That's the problem. They're all making money hand over fist, Jonathan. And so it's it's definitely gotten way out of control, and a lot of a big problem was also going to be with all the way that we consume the games from home, with all the apps, and it's I want my money in my pocket. You goddamn right, NFA. Goddamn right. I work too hard for my money to just piss it away. But we're definitely going to be circling back around to the CBA negotiations as the season goes on. More of the negotiations become more solidified of what they really want. Like I said, it was a lot of it has just been speculation. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to feed into it. It's like the off season all over again. Well, this player's talking to this team, but we don't know which team they're talking to. Yeah, it's enough to make you pull your hair out. And I'm trying to throw as many hair jokes as I can with Brad here, being that he doesn't get to see this face too often. But with that, hope everybody does get a good night's sleep. I am ready for it. So make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out, your friends, your family. Trainers on the corner. I'm Uncle Tats. I'll see you in a few hours on the morning show. So remember, wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.